you guys really know everything about me.
Well, we don't know everything about you.
Imagine you're a tourist, you arrive at this place and you would like to know more about it. All you will have to do is take a shot of the sign, and then we send the information up to the server. And you see, we recognize this as the Santa Monica Pier.
What you see is a culture where people feel that they can build things, they can actually accomplish what they want. And ultimately, people stay in companies because they can achieve something.
High five, Google!
It's phenomenal. If you're 24 and single, it's kind of like programmer nirvana.
This company has made you fabulously wealthy, hasn't it?
We've been, as a company, obviously more lucky than any company deserves to be.
Most successful company in the history of the world. I think that's true.
I'm Maria Bartiromo. 6 simple letters on a plain white page. That's the face of the most powerful technology company in the world. Revered, envied, and sometimes scorned. Google's co-founders, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, started the company as grad students in 1998. It has made them astoundingly rich. Today, they stand atop an empire cast in their own image. Audacious, ambitious, and often controversial. It is a company like no other, thriving on long hours, too much coffee, and something quite elusive: genius.
It's Wednesday morning at Google's world headquarters in Mountain View, California. And here, home to some of the brightest minds in the world, engineers in a remote office wing are talking about marbles.
See the marble right in the top of the Ferris wheel there?
Yeah.
Toy marbles.
Our first iteration of the track, we had it all suspended with fishing line. We found it to be really inconsistent, so we installed like this pole system.
It is a remarkable piece of work. It's also classic Google. Quirky, whimsical, and very inspired. The kind of spontaneous creativity that CEO Eric Schmidt says is an essential part of the Google culture.
I tend to think of Google as an extension of graduate school. Similar kinds of people, similar kind of crazy behavior, but people who are incredibly smart and incredibly motivated and have a sense of change, a sense of optimism.
Well, you feel that energy when you're walking around.
And we work hard to maintain that. What you see is a culture where people feel that they can build things, that they can actually accomplish what they want. And ultimately, people stay in companies because they can achieve something.
What you're building that is a dictionary that says this is a translation
of that Chinese term.
Something over there.
Yeah.
Google's success comes from attracting the best possible employees and then making work irresistible. And that means making it fun. Lots of fun.
High five, Google.
If you're restless, there are gyms. If you're stressed, there are massages. And then there's the food.
How we doing, Chef? Great, how are you? Good, good. Busy, busy. We have a team of 7 executive chefs here in Mountain View, and we have about 18 cafes in whole that we oversee.
Maybe you'd like Indian cuisine today, or sushi. No problem. Google has it all. And best of all, everything's free. For employees, that is. It costs Google a fortune.
Those are expensive benefits. What's the business justification?
It's a simple argument. We want them working all the time. And so if they're off doing other things, we don't have their attention.
Keeping your attention on work means keeping it off the mundane stuff. Like your laundry. Google will do that. Or your commute. Google will drive you. And don't ever sweat your wardrobe. Google is strictly casual. You don't even have to shave if the Queen of England herself comes by.
If we do a search for Windsor Castle...
And she did.
It's phenomenal. If you're 24 and single, it's kind of like programmer nirvana.
Engineer Noel Gorelick runs Google's Mars, Moon, and Sky programs. He spent 19 years working with NASA. But however impressive his resume, at Google, he's just one more bright mind in a sea of 20,000.
I did my master's in computer science. I used 12 textbooks during my courses. 10 of those 10 of the guys that wrote those textbooks work here.
This is the culture created in 1998 by a pair of Stanford University grad students, Sergey Brin and Larry Page.
When we were trying to name Google, we actually went through thousands of names, and we had settled on Google because it sounds fun. It also means a very large number. It means 1 followed by 100 zeros.
What started out as a research project has become this, a high-tech juggernaut and one of the most successful companies on the planet, with an array of cutting-edge products. There's Google Voice, Google Chrome, Google Images, and Google News. There's Google Book Search and Google Maps. And then there's YouTube, which Google owns, home to 20 hours of new video uploaded every minute. But all that pales in comparison to Google's crown jewel and its greatest creation, the Google Internet Search Engine. If you used it to find a Google expert, you might come up with this man, author John Battelle.
You've studied the company for so long. Give us a sense of what Google is, how successful a phenomenon it is. How would you characterize it?
Most successful company in the history of the world. I think that's fair.
The most successful company in the world.
I think that's true. I think it's inarguable. Now, if you look at past histories, Microsoft, I think, rivals Google for a period of time, right? From the late 80s through the mid-90s, its growth was quite similar. I do not believe it had the same profit curve, though. The profits that Google has managed to create are extraordinary.
In 2008, Google earned more than $4 billion in profits, with more than 95% of that coming from advertising, tied to its search engine. What makes it so good? In simple terms, a basic search engine crawls the internet, bouncing from link to link, indexing as many web pages as it can. When you do a search, it stacks your results based on the number of times your search term appears in each site. Google's masterstroke was to rank every website's importance by counting the number of other websites linking back to it. Google figured the more links to a site, the more important it must be, and the higher it should show up in your search results. They called this approach PageRank, after Larry Page, and it worked brilliantly.
I'm sure you remember, as do I, being told, hey, you've got to check this out. And when you go there and use it for the first time, it just works, and something happens between your ears that makes that brand valuable to you instantly, because a service is delivered that is delightful.
However complex the math behind it, Google's hallmark is simplicity. Its homepage is as friendly and unthreatening as a box of crayons. And this is the person who keeps it that way. A 34-year-old human dynamo
Going this way. Sorry.
named Marissa Meyer.
I want to see a much more robust brainstorm. I feel like we didn't really explore other ideas here.
She is tireless, hard-driving, and demanding.
I agree with his problem statement. I don't agree with the solution.
She's also been with the company from the very start.
What was it about Larry Page and Sergey Brin that prompted you to sign on with, at the time, this funky, little, unknown, small company named Google?
Well, I think there were two key factors in my decision. One is, I think you should work with the smartest people you can find, and two, I think you should do things that you're not ready to do.
How did you know you weren't ready for it?
At the time when I was interviewing, it was just an 8-person startup. They were printing their own business cards. Them also coming in and saying, well, we think search could change the world. We think it could change every person's life, and we think everyone should be doing internet search every day. I really believed that, but at the same time, that was so far away. At Google, obviously, we're always trying to strive for new heights, trying to really reach for the stars. And so we have a fun demo, which is about the stars.
Meyer's official title is Vice President, Search Products and User Experience. But her chief role is Keeper of Google's Look.
We want to actually cause search to be something that's fun, that's an expression of creativity that people do every day.
She is relentless in making sure everything Google is simple, uncluttered, and above all, clean.
Why is that look so important?
Well, I think that it says to our users that we don't want to get in their way. We want an experience that's fast and clean and easy, where it's just obvious. Type what you want into the search box, and you'll get it.
In the late 90s, when other search engines like AOL, Yahoo, and Alta Vista crammed their websites with links and ads, Google's plain blank look was actually a problem for the students who first tested it.
They would go to google.com, load up the page, and it would be blank. And they would just wait. And 15 seconds later, you'd be like, what are they waiting for? Maybe they're thinking of searches. 30 seconds later, you'd be like, what's going on? 45 seconds, and you'd be like, okay, I really am going to have to ask, what are they waiting for? And the answer was the same all 16 times that day. We're waiting for the rest of it.
Today, nearly 2/3 of the internet searches done worldwide, almost 2 billion a day, are done on Google.
What's your favorite internet search engine?
Google. Google.
Google. Google. Google. Google.
Google.
Google.
Google. Whether you're in Mongolia, Saudi Arabia, or Bangladesh, the word for search is
Google.
And that's despite some formidable competition. Rival Microsoft has launched a massive campaign to promote its new Bing search engine, which has slowly gained market share.
It's not just a search engine, it's the first ever decision engine from Microsoft.
Yahoo and Microsoft have also inked a deal to pool their search efforts, which could create a tough challenge to Google.
We're one click away from customers leaving us. We face very, very tough competition. I'm very, very proud of what Google has done. But never rest on your laurels. Always worry and always drive as hard as you can.
Google is no longer a startup, and Larry Page and Sergey Brin are no longer grad students living on fast food and credit cards. Today, they're worth $15 billion each, according to Forbes magazine. Brin, who immigrated from Russia at age 6, told us he never thought Google could be this successful.
No, certainly not. We've been, as a company, obviously more lucky than any company deserves to be. And we've been fortunate enough that when we're able to improve some aspect of people's lives, that we believe we'll be able to make a solid business out of that.
Solid indeed. And Marissa Meyer, who was the 20th employee hired at Google, hasn't done too badly herself.
This company has made you fabulously wealthy, hasn't it?
I think that, the success that we've experienced here at Google has been overall great.
It's pretty extraordinary.
It may be hard to believe all this stems from something as innocuous as a thing called Google. But underestimating any of the creative minds here has never been a good idea. Just ask Yahoo. In 1998, they had a chance to buy Google, but Yahoo turned it down.
People turn to the search engine box and admit things to it that they would not admit to their doctor, their shrink, their priest, their wife or husband, without a thought that all of these queries are being stored.
People are treating Google like their most trusted friend. Should they be?
Well, I think judgment matters. And if you have something that you don't want anyone to know, maybe you shouldn't be doing it in the first place.
That plain, simple address, google.com, has become our portal to the world. You can use it to find out how to tie a bow tie.
Tuck the middle of the loose end behind the bow.
Or to get a football score. It can also help you with more personal issues, like finding a divorce lawyer, researching a medical problem, even getting a date. And for all this, the world's most powerful technology company charges us nothing. But that doesn't mean it's free. The real cost may be in users' privacy.
I think most of them have not ever consciously thought of the privacy trade-off that they are making. I don't think they recognize that these products aren't really free, but that, in fact, you are trading your privacy for these services.
The decision to invoke the state's...
Kevin Bankston is a senior attorney at the Electronic Frontier Foundation in San Francisco. He's worried about how much Google knows about you.
Google keeps every search query, what you type into the box, forever. They have every query ever since, they started running this on a few boxes at Stanford. The question is whether that data is identifiable to you.
It's no secret that Google keeps its users' search terms. They say they analyze that data